Boom! Welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. I'm Conor Mack. I'm with the legend himself, Maxwell Smart. How was the day yesterday, my guy? Give it up. Give a Hulk.
Well, Connor, it was a mixed bag. I took some of my bookie's money. His girlfriend will be delivering me an envelope tomorrow, and I will hit on her. So
Love
that's
it.
going well.
Yes.
I did have a wager, non money wise, with someone that I'm sharing a camera with. Oh, it's you, Connor. Nice
Me.
win on Idaho yesterday. I almost covered my 6.5 in overtime, but lost by the hook. And that was something that happened to me a lot yesterday. So it was profitable, but it could have been so much better if the bounces went my way. But I'm ready to go. I just watched a
Okay.
thrilling afternoon game. It was
Very good.
a 63-59 game. So that's what I call thrilling. Under City. Shout out to the master Jedi of unders, Noli knows.
I know the public wants to see overs. Everyone likes to see shots go down, but I don't mind some Brick City, especially when I have some of these unders. And real quick, let's just get into yesterday. We got a short card. Let's talk about some of our action. Let's just get to the heartbreak real quick. I mean, the Rutgers game, just the under. They just, I thought they'd get there, get a couple buckets late, get past Lehigh. They didn't. So that was difficult. That one was a swift kick to the nuts. Seton Hall was good for me. They covered. Idaho, that was scary, Mac. I thought they controlled the whole game, and I'm like, and this was their problem not much last year because they didn't, they won one game, but they didn't win that game. That was the game they probably should win. They fold, and you're right. One more bucket. I'm I'm Dundee. I was shitting the pants there at the end after talking shit early on in the game. But so that was a good one. Like I said, Seton Hall blew it out, and then Michigan. I thought getting up, defense wasn't played. It went over by 10 points. It slowed down a little bit in the second, but I guess I overthought that a little bit. I want to talk about before we run through some more scores. I thought we looked at the card really well last night. Um, some games I didn't jump on the UNLV and the under. We talked about that later. Alcorn, Seattle under. We were on the Pacific Northern Colorado under. You and I were. I thought that was a good look. So overall, decent day. Not great, but let's go through. I'll just whip through real fast before we get. I know we want to get to today, but how'd you think of the Michigan win over Buffalo? What'd you think of that game?
I think that the Michigan game was interesting because Buffalo showed a lot of fight and a lot of heart, and that's definitely a sign of good coaching and having upperclassmen by not folding like a lawn chair, which I was thinking that it was possible. We had seen Michigan be very dominant against non-conference opponents and routing them by close to 20 points. So it was a good sign of perseverance and probably quality overall in the MAC conference with the way that Buffalo played. I think from the Michigan side, I was really impressed with Moussa Diabite, the French 5-star recruit, not getting a ton of know-how, but that kid was making passes. That kid was making freaking high percentage. He was making high percentage shots, and obviously, I got to shout out Caleb Houston, fellow Canadian from Mississauga, Ontario. That boy is going to be a goddamn collegiate star, and get used to his name because you're going to be hearing him in the NBA for about 10 years to come.
He looked good. He looked, everything kind of the billing of him coming in. Florida State took care of business. 35-point win, 105-70 over Penn. Old Dominion 20-point win. Obviously, the Seton Hall I mentioned, they just killed them 93-49. Temple had a big win. Wake Forest, you were right there. I mean, kind of hung on a little late. 18-point win, but solid from the start. Talk a little about your Wake Forest there. I know you're on there.
Yeah, I think with Wake Forest, they were able to really use that size that I talked about to get extra opportunities at the bucket. And I just think that when you're getting good point guard play and you're playing the Steve Forbes system that they played masterfully at East Tennessee State, now it's looking real good at Wake Forest. So I just think that this is a product of good coaching, having a clear advantage physically against your opponent. And also let's also call out that the opponent wasn't the strongest, but the ACC was looking real bad. They needed somebody to route somebody. Wake Forest delivered it, and they delivered the cash money at the same time.
Yeah, UCF, obviously the 10-point win, 69-59 over Robert Morris. Kind of was close there at the end. Kansas State won by 10. Florida A&M, another game, stayed under. We had kind of talked about Northern Alabama, Mississippi State, beat down 75-49. That game stayed under. What else do we have? Texas A&M, North Florida, 64-46. They get the cover by a point. That was when we talked about the under. Go ahead. You want to hit on that?
That was a little rough for me because my show play was 17.5, so I lost by the hook, but my bet was 18.5 live, and I got under 146.5. So not only did I hit my pregame under, hit a live spread, did pretty well on that game. And I just think that with this Texas A&M team, if they can't shoot threes, you can really lock them down defensively, even if you're not a good offensive team. And North Florida did that for good stretches of time in that game yesterday.
I agree with you. That was one that I had written down for my 5 yesterday. Written down right here, and I kind of balked at the end. And I'm a little bummed that I did, but it went under. Vanderbilt, just a 19-point win. We talked about it. The line might be too big in that one. Tulsa had a 7-point win. Penn State, 75-59 over Youngstown. Go ahead, touch on that.
Tulsa was pretty painful for me. I went 0-3 on that game. Lost first half under, full game under, and on the spread with Tulsa. So the dogs were barking last night, bud. Like Cash Action just said, like he fucking went with 19 dogs and 12 of them fucking were cash money. So something to keep in mind, maybe.
If you've been on them, especially these dogs with 10 points or more, and that's what I look for. I mean, I went with Seton Hall because I thought that was just because to me, it always scares the shit out of me. You know how it is. Laying 17 to 25 points is just, there's always just takes a minute of a couple threes, a few possessions, and you're shit out of luck. Your bet's on fire. Your ticket there. Let's touch on the last couple and we'll get to today's games. How'd you feel about New Mexico? I believe you had this game against FAU, 99-92.
I had New Mexico. I got in on them at +3. I think that, like I talked about on the show, Jalen House, he was fantastic for this team. I just think that when you have these young guards and KJ Jenkins and Jamal Mashburn Jr., you need someone else that can really bring a little bit of stability. And I think that Jalen House is going to bring that plus some. So if you're playing DFS, that's a guy that you need to write down his name, put that on a list because he's going to make you some money.
Alrighty, and let's get to this one. You were kind of on their side. Hopefully they play better. I always like this team at home, mentioned it, and I bitched about their football team. But they played well last night, was Wyoming against Detroit Mercy. You want to touch on that just a minute?
Yeah, that game was definitely painful for me, Connor. I did happen to get on a live under with Noli Knows in the Pub Sports Radio Discord, so you should be going in there, checking out the live mic channels, because that's where we hang out and live bet at night when we're trying to get away from our loved ones. And I'll say this, Connor, when you look at that total at 155.5 that it opened at and then going down to 152, it's not a conference situation that Josh Applebaum's system applies to, but you really wanted to take that theory and apply it to that game, and luckily it did come through. It eased the pain of Detroit Mercy completely flopping and slurping some icy cold cock soup.
Cock soup reference. I love it. Before we touch on your games, let's hit the chat real quick. We love you guys. Thanks for being here. Hit the like, the bell, the whistle, the share, the subscribe. Retweet us on Twitter. We appreciate you. Neo P, Thomas Johnson, Boston Nick MMA. Get on here and chug a beer, brother. James Little, Durko Gaming, Carlos Looters, Nathan Serta, Top Shelf Plays. Who else is in here? Cash Action Bets. Our guy Bill McDonald. Ron Lofton, Eric Jones, Neil P, Preston's in here, $5 unit. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. And let's get to today. Let's get right to it, Max. Let's get to your favorite looks here on the board. Let's get to your first one.
Yeah, so let's go to a game with a team with a new coach, but a coach that brings a style that has brought many winning tickets to our arms and daggers to our bookies' hearts. And that's South Carolina State going to College of Charleston. And this line opened up at 17 points and a total of 143 and a half. That total has been juiced and bet the fuck up like a goddamn cow that needs to be milked. And it's 149 and a half right now and an 18 or 18 and a half point spread. I jumped on the 17. I jumped on the first half -10. I think that this is a situation where there is not a fantastic opportunity for the dog to win unless the offense for Charleston does not show its quality like it did at Winthrop. Pat Kelsey is the new head coach of Charleston. I think that he is going to get something out of Brendan Tucker that the previous coaching staff was not able to do. And when I look at this College of Charleston team, they're just uber talented with guys that know how to play within their role. And I like guys that can do that. I think that when you have Osinchi Smart, I'm probably butchering his name like I do with many people's names. You have a solid rim protecting running front court player. And I think that he's going to be able to play a big he's going to have a big advantage tonight against what he's going to see in South Carolina State. There's only one credible player, in my opinion, for South Carolina State, and that's Rashawn Edwards. And outside of that, everyone else is unproven, and really, I can't quantify what their production or contribution is going to be. I think that when you look at Charleston, they did go on the transfer market. They got John Meeks from Bucknell. Expect him at 6'6" to provide a lot of length and size and score from the mid range and score close to the bucket and get you buckets when you need it. But if Brendan Tucker doesn't turn himself into a 17 to 20 point per game score in this offense at the tempo they're going to play, well, I'm going to be fucking pretty sad. I'm going to be stabbing College of Charleston logos, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Excellent. So you got -17. We got what, 18 and a halves now.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about, yeah, you're right. South Carolina State will have trouble shooting the ball. That's why. What do you think of this total? Do you think it's legit that maybe this high? I don't know if it gets there. What do you think?
I'm applying the usual ideology I do to numbers like this when it's a route and I don't have faith in the team being able to get to 65 on one side. I take that big number and I take that full game under, and then I approach it live to amend any pregame mistakes that I could have made.
I love it because I see whether they cover or not, I think they win College of Charleston. It's just, I don't know. Will South Carolina State get to, like you said, that 60, 65 mark? I'm not so sure. So that could be a sneaky under there. Let's get to it. Let's get to your second one, brother.
All right. So we're going to move on to a game where I'm definitely interested in watching it. I'm interested to see what kind of tempo comes from it. And that is going to be the IUPUI game versus Evansville. When we look at this line, IUPUI opened up as a 12-point dog and a 136 total. And that total has been steamed the fuck down to 130 and a half. So there's a 129 and a half on the board at a book I can use. And I just think that this is a spot where I thought there was going to be points. What I've watched from IUPUI is that they don't play a lot of defense. Their guards want to run often, and that you're going to have ample opportunities to shoot 3-point buckets against them. So when I look at this line now at 6 points or 7 points lower than it opened, I start to wonder, am I a little fucked up or something? Have I been drinking fucking whiskey at 2 p.m? That's not the case. I can promise you that. But I just have to look at the dog in this spot. There's no one that I really like offensively when it comes to IUPUI, but they just have a way of being able to stay in it and playing down and getting other teams to play down to them. Evansville is going to have a much easier time getting good looks at home. Probably helps them in the first half, but are they going to be able to maintain that for 40 minutes? I'm just not so sure.
So what was your official one here?
I like the over if you can get 130 or 130 and a half. I just
Yeah,
have
there's
to go with these low numbers, finding a way to get over with some late game free throw shooting, and hopefully it doesn't turn into a South Dakota Air Force game.
yeah, there's 130 and a halves. You know, tons of places bet NGM, FanDuel, all those spots. So you get it. For me, this one real quick. This was one of the quickest. Like, I was like, didn't want anything to do it. You know, kind of looked into it. I don't want Evansville laying that number. IUPUI is not very good. They're not very good defensively. They struggle at times to score. So this was a quick pass for me. Let's get to your third one.
Yeah, let's go to UC Riverside and Arizona State. Obviously, you guys know I have a bit of a fan crush on UC Riverside. I like how this team shoots the basketball. I like the size that they have at the guard spots. And this line opened up against Arizona State with Arizona State as a 10.5 point favorite and a 141.5 total. That total's down to 139 or 139.5 across the board, mostly 139s, and the spread's at 9.5. I just think that Riverside is a team that is going to have better 3-point shooting tonight than they did against San Diego State. I don't expect them to shoot 27%. I think that it is important to get some better rim protection from Callum McRae and force this Arizona State team to beat you from the perimeter. I think that there are questions with Arizona State's depth tonight, and I just don't really like the number. I think that the number should have been around 5.5 to 6, and I think that this total now with the move has lost all value towards the under, even though I do think first half and full game under are the way to play it. I don't think that Riverside wants to get into a shootout with Arizona State. I think that they get back in transition, take away those easy look opportunities off missed shots. And I think that Riverside finds a way to backdoor cover this game, similar to how they did if you had 13.5 or better in the game against San Diego State.
Shout out to my guy Willie Beeman. Catch him on the NBA Pub Hub right before us, a couple days a week. He's in there when skis out. Tease, my guy, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. I love that. I loved a lot what you said. I have that game on it. Let's just say I agree.
Okay.
Let me hit me with your next one.
All right, so we're gonna stay on the West Coast. Anybody that says I got an East Coast bias, take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it, because I'm going West Coast game again. Let's go to Cal Fullerton and San Jose State. Tim Miles making his coaching debut for San Jose State, and the Spartans, hasn't been easy for them. It's not an easy life being a member of Spartan basketball, and I'll tell you this. You know what? Not having Richard Washington is going to hurt. And we're going to probably try and take advantage of that hurt. We're not malicious. We're not evil. We're just hungry for the bookies' money. So when I look at this game, guys, the total has been steamed the fuck down from 149.5, and it's all the way down to 144. I think with the spread, we've seen it go from, I believe, 6 or 6.5, and it's been hanging around at 6. With Fullerton, it is important to know that they made what I think is going to turn out to be a key acquisition to their front court, and that's EJ Ananoski. EJ Ananoski is a big, bruising, strong power forward, old school power forward that is going to get close to the bucket. He's going to get easy looks, second chance opportunities, and he's going to do some work on the glass. He wasn't used as much as I thought he could be at Tennessee last year after transferring from Sacred Heart. But him and Vince Lee on the glass, they are not going to give up a lot of second chance opportunities to San Jose State. I think that there is definitely under city all over this game. And even if Fullerton does put up 75 points, I do think that we can just stay under the number, just take minutes off your life and cash a ticket. So I like the unders in the game, Connor. And if you were to give me a free bet, I would take the home dog. I want to see what Coach Miles can do with less. So
This was a very interesting spot for me. San Jose State was so bad last year. I thought they improved, as the year went on, but they were probably what, bottom five around there, 10 team all year long. I like Fullerton. I couldn't get there because it's a spot I want to take San Jose State. I thought I needed a little bit more points to make it, a full bet with the 6. And you still think the under's good, even though it's taken a dip here, about 4 points the total. Yeah.
I think that we've seen a couple games like that come back to memory from last year, that we've seen similar line action, and then we've seen a 137 or a 140 total. So
definitely. All righty. Let's get to another one of yours. Just keep rolling, brother.
Yeah, so my last of my 5, Connor, before we get into your 5, is a game that we both share an interest in watching, wagering, and hopefully cashing on. So it was brought to my attention that our friend, the Lady Taint Master, Taint Play of the Day, Matt Randall, was all over Hawaii, like I'm all over a local stripper. Okay? I had to think about it. I had to look into it. And then I talked to you, Connor. And then it sealed it. I'm going to bet this game. I'm going to watch this game. And you know what I'm going to do, Connor? I'm going to take the first half under. And I'm going to gamble. Okay? I think that both these guys played last night. Maybe there's a little bit of tired legs. I think that you got unexpected amount of guard production from Dalen Koontz and Matt Johnson. I'm not so sure that they give you 35 again tonight. And if they don't, they're going to have to run a lot more one-on-one ISO situations for Bodie Hume. And sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. If you've seen the kid and the head on him, he's pale as fuck and looks like he's living in 1984. So put your money where your mouth is, I like the under first half.
Oof, I like to hear it. I love to hear it. Real quick, is there just anything else that you wanted to throw out there? I know you were on the show earlier. You have certain bets. Anything else real quick? We have a Q&A. By the way, any guys, we're not touching these games because I have a couple with Max that he just talked about. So at the end, the last 10, 15 minutes, we'll answer any questions on a few other games. Only 13 games left, so not a big card. We'll touch them all, I'm sure. But you good? I'll get to mine?
Absolutely. Okay. Let's move on to your top 5,
Let's get to it. My top one here is a team, wow, that's in peril, I think. I mean, losing to Northern Illinois. It's Washington. This is Northern Arizona. The line's 15.5. Northern Arizona is not a good basketball team. They got their ass kicked by Arizona by 30. Washington is bad. I mean, them to lose 10. People think it's a bounce back spot for Washington. I don't give a shit. This is one I'll pay to see the dog right here, almost getting 16 points. They've been pretty good as a road underdog, Northern Arizona. Usually that's not against, Washington's, these bigger schools. But they've been, 9-3, it's last 12. As a dog, they could have trouble. Their defense hasn't been very good, but Washington's offense isn't very good. And that gets me to the total here. I think I might double up here and like the full game under. Washington struggles to shoot it. Or what were they, Max? You have the things. I think they were 16% from 3. I mean, they were just god-awful, Washington. The free throw line, they didn't make any shots. So maybe some drop tonight, so that makes me a little leery on the total. But give me the 15.5 here with Northern Arizona. What do you think?
I absolutely agree with you there, Connor. I think that with Northern Arizona, listen, they got down early, but they just couldn't recover, but they didn't get absolutely blown out of the water. I think that they got bad shooting from Jalen Cone. I expect him to have a better game. And
thank you.
If you can shoot,
thanks. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, keep going. It was the Vatek, he had a horrible shooting night. This guy can shoot it when he gets going. So go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, if Jalen Cone has a good game, I think that you're going to be okay, because what happened in that Washington game against Northern Illinois, 52% from 3, 12 3-point makes allowed. If you could shoot over Mike Hopkins' zone, well, then why is Mike Hopkins the coach of the Huskies? That's what I was saying before, and I still think that now. So I agree with you. I think that to throw even more validation to the under, I like first half under. I like full game under. I don't trust Washington to make their free throws. I expect them to get to the free throw line because they rebound so well, but they left 15 points at the free throw line against Northern Illinois. You want to do that again? That's fine. That will help me in my under, you know?
I love it. Love to hear it. Yeah, you mentioned Cone. I think he shoots better. They got Tout, down below Carson Tout. I think they hang here in this spot. Washington goes in there and wins by 20. I don't think it's that. I don't think they do. I mean, I just think Northern Arizona. This is a spot. I think it's too many here again. I mean, Northern Illinois is one of the worst teams in the MAC, and they beat them by 10 or 11. So Hopkins is on the hot seat. He might be on his way out. We got a little UConn chant here for the homers. Let's get to my second game, which Max is. I know he loves his UConn. I like him too, but let's get to Kennesaw State and Creighton. This was my second play. Too many points here. I'm going straight to the 19, Kennesaw State. I like the over as well. I haven't bet it yet. You mentioned in the back you like this over, correct? Real quick.
Yes, I do.
You do 148. Okay. I liked how Kennesaw, they have to shoot it well again. That would, they shot it pretty well against Iowa State. If they don't shoot it well, they might lose by more than 20. But I love the 19 points. You talked about how good the Dogs have been. What was it, over 12? Oh, over 10 or more, or around 70% here early. 2 days. Let's not get too pumped. But I think it's too many points. And the real reason is the other side. Creighton didn't shoot it well. They still scored 90. That's why this over, I think, is pretty good. And they only won 90-77. They never led that game against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Not a very good basketball team. Ding, ding, ding. Not great here. They didn't shoot it well from three. I thought it was just they never led the game by more than 17. I think it's way too many points here. As long as they make their free throws, hit the threes, 19's too many. Give me the plus 19 here, Kennesaw.
Yeah, Connor. Resounding yes to that. I think that this is the best Kennesaw team that has been there in a while because they've been the whooping boy of the A-Sun. And listen, when you're getting Terrell Burden to drop 5 for 9 from 3-point range, you're going to be into games. What you need to do, though, is you need to fucking slap Spencer Rogers upside his head and be like, listen, motherfucker, don't get yourself in fucking foul trouble because we need you to win games and cash tickets for your backers. So I expect that trio of Burden and Rogers and Youngblood to all be efficient, effective. And this is the third year in a row that they played this Creighton Blue Jay team. This is the first opportunity that they actually have to maybe even keep this game single digits.
I like to hear that because I think they could hang within the 20, and if even best, like you said, hang it, single digits, which would be great. And I think there's a Creighton team still good, but maybe not as good as the past few years. So, and people are still going off that. So, and that's why this line's so big. Try to get in there, sneak in with the plus 19. Okay, let's get to my third one. It's one you already touched on. Your team, you already backed them. I went against them head to head. Certain stances, some people lost one. We had 13 both ways. We pushed. I had San Diego State. I want them here tonight. UC Riverside versus Arizona State. I got 10. I think it's okay at 9.5 now. I mean, obviously 10's better. Total has dropped. I didn't get the total. We're around 142. A lot of people have hit this down. That's why you talked about a little bit question marks with the 139, but I still lean under. UC Riverside is not going to go up and down. Arizona State, though, isn't a good defensive basketball team here. They got the transfer Jackson. Remy Martin's out. We mentioned him. He's at Kansas the other day. Hurley wants a more defensive, oriented team. They got 3 guys out, though, with COVID. Some of their better players, Arizona State. I mentioned, talking to Max, they have 7 guys they played the other night. Portland's a little bit better. I wasn't impressed with the win. Man, I got to take the points here. UC Riverside. You talked about McRae in the center, 7'1". Decent game. He had 13 and 4. I think he could do well tonight. I like their size. I think they can keep this single digits, and I lean under, even at 139. I don't know if this is to get to the window. I missed 3 points, but I lean under in this spot. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on the under. I think that the first half under is going to tell you whether or not full game has a good shot. So, with that number moving less, I think that's the spot that I'll be looking to attack. But
Okay.
I just think that with this Arizona State team, you know, I like the talent on paper. I just don't know if it's cohesive enough to win and cash you double digit favorite tickets. And with Luther Muhammad being eligible, I think that's a big boost to this team. But without depth against a physical team that's going to really make you take tough shots, I'm just worried. I do like the Canadian Enoch Boaki, whatever the fuck his goddamn name is. Well, he's a Canadian. That's all I gotta tell you. He's 6'10". He could be that defensive stalwart that Coach Hurley needs. But if you look down, Marcus Bagley, this is your opportunity. This is why you came back to school. This is a personnel group that fits better with you as the leader. So it's going to be up to him to really develop before our eyes. And if Arizona State does what is the best part of their offense, is that they go to the rim. Don't settle for mid-range jumpers. Don't fall in love with three-point shots. Go and try and dunk the ball every time. And that's how Arizona State can be successful with this personnel. I don't think it's going to be the case. I think that Callum McRae will have something to say about it. And I look for Zion Pullen and Dom Pickett to lead the way three-point shooting-wise for Riverside. I don't think they're shooting 27% again from beyond the arc.
Nailed it. I think it's a tough place to play. And San Diego State's got really good defense. They turned the ball over. They didn't shoot it well. I think they shoot a little bit better here tonight, and that's why I think, they're in this one. Good on bringing that up, Max. Let's get to the last one. You mentioned it. This was the Taint, our guy, Matty Ice. Taint play of the day. Hawaii plus 2.5. I think he did. I don't know if he that or had money line. Anybody in the chat hit me up because I didn't know if he took the 2.5 or he liked the money line. Northern Colorado, you liked them yesterday. They came through. They had a huge first half. They kind of let it slip. They started to look like old Northern Colorado towards the end of the game. They won 67-65, a 2-point win. I just like Hawaii at home. We mentioned it. Home court advantage is just something. I think Northern Colorado is a little bit more talented, well-rounded, but it's not an easy place to play there. I talk about the football. It's always wacky shit. Like, that is crazy. The refs are on drugs. I don't even know what's going on in Hawaii football. But even Hawaii basketball, I like taking the Rainbow Warriors here at home. Junior Madu, I mean, he's their best player. Is that how you say his last name?
I think so.
But yeah, Junior. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know either. But he's their lone guy. He averaged 17 points. They got a lot of transfers. But to me, this was a pick 'em. Maybe Hawaii, maybe -2. Right around there. I think Northern Colorado's getting the bump from the win last night. People are excited from yesterday. So maybe some tired legs here. The total was interesting to me. You mentioned you like the under, right, Max?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I think so too. You never know with these kids; it could get into shooting a little bit. It's down. It's 137. I left just a question mark there. But Hawaii to me is the spot. I think the game is close, and if you're going to have a tight game, I think this is a possession or two, a basket or so. I want the 2.5 points. I don't mind if you want to just go money line, but I'm going to take the 2.5 with Hawaii. I think they get it done here at home.
Hey, listen, I think that it's a number that definitely has produced winners for people in the past and a situation. So shout out to my guy, fucking Platinum Paul, situational college basketball capper, and good old fucking Texan. So
hell yeah.
I think that it's a good spot, Connor. I like it. And I hope that I can bring myself to tail you on it and then cash with you.
Oh, I love to hear. Everyone, get your questions on some extra games. And if not, we're going to run through them. We got a short card. But while we do this, get everything ready. If you have questions, let's get to our sponsors right now. Let's hit it, Big Show. There we go. Southtown 101. If you're in the San Antonio area, go there. Booze, karaoke. Tell them C-Mac and Max sent you. I'm sure they'll buy you a free beer, a shot, maybe give you, 10% off your check, some bullshit like that. They'll hook it up, man. Great place, Southtown 101. And go to manscaped.com. Your promo code PubSports. Keep your nuts shaved, keep them clean. The women like it. They don't want to, weeds down there. Keep it trimmed up. Manscaped, keep it clean. Let's get to it. Let's hit the questions on some of the rest of these games here from the chat. Max, let's get to it. Here we go. Teaser. Okay, can it go over in Merrimack NJIT? I want to talk about this too. I lean Merrimack. I just can't trust them laying the 3. Tell me what you got, Max.
So with this Merrimack game, this is a team that I followed closely since their move to D1, and NGIT was a team that I followed closely because I was a big Zach Cooks fan, and I really like the way he plays point guard. Well, Zach Cooks is gone for NGIT, but like I was saying this morning with Jimmy, I think that Jacob Manson can be an X factor for this team if he brings that freaking point forward skill at 6'7". So it's going to be interesting to see what the lineup and rotation situation is for NGIT, but they have a really solid front court tandem of Matt Faw and Diakite. I think that with Dylan O'Hearn, he can be that game-breaking scorer, give you 20 or something a game. And with him, it's really just a matter of him staying out of foul trouble because he's got size, he's got strength. But I think that when you look at this NGIT team, it's going to come down to what they get at the point guard spot from Antoine Butler and what they get at the wing position, because that's where they're really lacking. So if Miles Coleman's healthy, I think that he's going to be able to contribute offensively. I think that NGIT is going to be able to own home court, unlike most America East teams. And Conor, let's not forget that even though Merrimack has a game, they played Emerson and shot 60% from the free throw line, 28% from 3-point line against a non-D1 competition. Now they're going to go out on the road as a 3-point favorite. I don't think that the line is accurate. I think it should be a pick 'em. I like the Highlanders.
I'm glad I talked to you. Well, I kept that off. I just thought 3, they're going to get my money. So I'm glad you went through that one, Max. Let's get to one. I'd love to hear your point because this is a game. It wasn't enough to me to put my money on it, but I'm interested. Vermont, Northern Iowa. Hit it, brother.
Yeah, so with this Vermont team, I think it's important to realize that they're doing some revamping. They're now running that offense through Ryan Davis, and Ryan Davis is the kind of forward that you want on every program. He can go inside, he can go outside, he'll stretch the defense out, and he'll run the floor, and he'll hustle, he'll play defense. So I think that they're going to be able to run a lot of offense through him, and with Thomas Murphy, the Northeastern transfer, playing alongside him, I think that that's going to be a tandem that Northern Iowa is really going to have to work on tonight. I think with Northern Iowa, the situation is AJ Green's back. He's going to have to put this team on his shoulders, and he's going to have to carry them. The 2-man game that he's going to run with Austin Fife is definitely going to be at the foremost of importance tonight, and they both need to have good games. Last game when they lost to Nichols by 4 at home, Fife had 20 and 9. So AJ Green can't shoot 1 for 14 again from the field, and I don't think he's going to. So I think that there was value this morning with Northern Iowa in the first half. But now with the line the way it is, I think that you just got to play the under and hope that Vermont is playing solid enough backcourt defense and they can't score from the backcourt to help you get there.
You know what? I think this is gone out too far. I see 7.5 or 1. Sorry, that's the only one circa. They're always the only one. They're up 7s though. Everywhere. Now it's 7. Vermont's a pretty solid basketball team. It has been the last few years. Northern Iowa, you talked about, I think they shoot it better. This is where they're really good is at home, but they've had trouble covering numbers the last few years. Here they're not very good. If this was when it opened around 3.5, and it's 7, I'm looking the other way a little bit with Vermont. I think that these 7 points could come in to value here late in that game.
Hey,
Let's get
Connor,
yeah,
I like it, man. I like it. Trying to beat a team by 2 buckets and making your free throws at the end of the game with the pressure on, difficult.
yeah, definitely. Good one. Oh, that was a kind of a good game. I know a lot of people were looking at. Okay, Vermont, here, I'll answer this. Real deal prime. Get this. Tell them I sent you a free meal. I said a free beer, buddy. All right, grinder, free beer, or I'll give you a Coke. If that's what you're drinking, a Coke. Any thoughts on McNeese plus 22 against TCU?
Yeah, this is a spot where I got on McNeese at plus 24.5. I just don't know about this new combination of Mike Miles and Emmanuel Miller for TCU. They're going to need some more help, and they're relying on new pieces like Shahada Wells to contribute. So I think that TCU is definitely going to win the game outright. I just don't really think that they're worthy from my model, from my projections, to be worth it at this number. I think that McNeese definitely is weakened compared to last couple years, but I just have to take the value with the number, and that is with the 20 point plus dog.
Yeah, this was one. It was tough for me. It's just a pass, but 22 is a lot. That'd only be my only lean in that game. Um, Carlos asked, you still like the under 130 and a half in the Vermont game? Yeah, and actually there's 131 and a half most places. So what did you think of the total? I didn't know if you really did you touch on that real quick? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm on the under in that
The
game.
under?
So
Okay.
I think that if Vermont does get their style of tempo, it will struggle to get to 65 each. But I think that with so much one-on-one isolation basketball run through AJ Green, I think that helps the clock also.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Let's get to George Washington, Maryland next.
Yeah, this is a spot that obviously the storyline if you're local is Ricky Lindo's coming back to College Park, but let me send Ricky Lindo a fucking memo because Ricky Lindo's gonna have to deal with Wahab, and if Wahab's gonna drop 17-6 when he's in foul trouble, I don't know what he's gonna do to the front court of this George Washington team. So unless they get the same kind of offensive production that they got in their first game, I don't really know what's going to happen with this George Washington team. I hope that they play shit defense. I hope that Maryland can score the basketball. And I just hope that we don't see any kind of ass clenching bullshit with the total like we did in the Rutgers game. So Brendan Adams, the UConn transfer, he had a big 20-point game. Not sure if you can depend on that on a nightly basis, but you just can't have James Bishop going under 10 points. If he has a bad shooting game, this game probably struggles to get over, but I'm on the over 137.5 at 142. I don't really like it as much anymore. But that's really all that I have on that. So
Yeah, this was a pass for me as well. For some reason, I just don't want to lay 17 and a half right now with Maryland. Better team. I don't know, maybe it's a lot of these dogs have been winning. It's just one I want to kind of watch here tonight. Let's get to the next one. He was the Providence game. I don't know. He doesn't know a thing about Sacred Heart. Does PRSP full or whatever his name was.
yeah,
Go ahead,
listen,
Max.
with that Sacred Heart team, they're going up against a different quality of opponent in Providence. I think that Anthony Latina has definitely got a very nice team for the NEC conference play. And he's got some really solid experienced guards in Aaron Clark and Tyler Thomas. These are guys that are going to be able to give you 30 points. Hopefully they can do it again tonight. If they can, then they're going to stay in this game against Providence. But Providence had that scare against Fairfield after beating them by 41 last year. You know, we saw what happened there. So I expect a better defensive effort from Providence. I expect a better offensive effort from Providence. And I just want to see Providence run a lot more Nate Watson action. I don't know why you're not just feeding this guy more and more. You got a lot of different options on this team if you're Ed Cooley, excuse me. But I think that Ed Croswell is the guy that really needs to get more run. Him and Nate Watson together is going to give you the rim protection that you need to stop all these easy freaking baseline layups. And unless Providence changes some of this bullshit that we saw in the Fairfield game, they're going to be causing me a lot of fucking grief.
Yeah. Sacred Heart, this is a step up for them. They bring back, a lot of their team. I got to have more points. Providence just really blew it for them to give that many points up, to Fairfield. And man, it really that sucked on night one. So this game was just a pass for me. I want to just watch more of Providence, and they get going. This seems like a tournament team every year. Maybe that was just bad night one, like you mentioned. The year before they beat them by 41. And they struggle in their first game. So one I just want to watch as well. Let's get to our guy here. I want to have it on here. Who's Birdie, our guy, great handicapper, great guy. He wants to know about the under in the Prairie View game. Max, Prairie View, San Fran.
Shout out to Birdie. Birdie is one of my guys, and Birdie, I'm on the over in that game. I got the opener on it. I just think that with the San Francisco team, they're going to be able to break the press of Prairie View. Prairie View is going to really have to match shot for shot if they want to stay in this game. But even if it turns into a route situation, these are one of the route games that I think that can still find its way over, because when you have three solid guards like Bouye, Shabazz, and Julian Rashawn coming off the bench, all you need is some strong, stable front court players, and that's what Coach Todd Golden went out and got. So I think that this is a San Francisco team that's going to run. I think San Francisco is a way more comfortable team at home. And I just think that this is a spot where we're going to see close to 155 to 160. So at 149 or less, definitely has intrigue and value to me.
All right. That'll do it. Yeah, it opened at 145.5, Brian. Tori, I'll get to my plays in just one sec. Before Max, that's it. We touched them all. That's every game on the board. So, Max, you want to run through real quick the 5 games and the 5 looks you had before we get out of here?
Yeah, so in the IUPUI Evansville game, I like the over. It depends on what number you can get, but I would go as high as 130.5. In the UC Riverside game, I like the first half under, and then I like Riverside. In the Fullerton San Jose State game, I still like the under, even with the massive line movement towards the under. And if you gave me a free play, I would back San Jose State with Tim Miles making his home coaching debut. When it comes to Northern Colorado and Hawaii, that's a spot that I'm definitely looking at the under in first half full game. Definitely give the first half as my play, just because I want some room for wiggle room if they don't come through. So, and then my last game, Conor, is the Charleston game. I like Charleston first half full game, and I also like the game to go over. I like the game to go under.
Yeah, that one, that was a game I didn't really, want to touch on too much, but you've opened my eye. I mean, I think they can cover that. It is a big number, but even that under, I think this might have gone too far up. I don't know if South Carolina State can score that many. So I love that breakdown you had on that game today. Here's mine. I'm on Northern Arizona, plus 15.5. And think I'm going to be on the under. This is one I'm going to wait. It's 138.5. I know Max likes it. So that might be on the board as well. I'm on Kennesaw State plus 19 against Creighton. I think they cover that number. They just got to shoot it well. Don't let me down, baby. UC Riverside. I got plus 10, but there's 9.5. I think you're okay there. We gave a lean to the under. It's dropped. We talk about the value. This opened 142.5. It's down to 139 and dropping even now. And then the last game, Hawaii, plus 2.5. I just think it's a close ball game. I want that home team late in Hawaii there at the Stan Sheriff Center, baby. Give me Hawaii, Rainbow Warriors. And I have one other lean. It's just now at 7. It's just a lean, kind of a free bet, gun to my head, was that Vermont Northern Iowa game. Interesting. Pushing to 7 now. I think the points with Vermont might be the play. It was a game I stayed off, but now seeing all this money come in on Northern Iowa. I could be wrong, but that's just a lean of mine. You got one last word, Max, before we dip?
Yeah, Connor, I'm actually seeing a 7.5 now pop up on
Yeah.
my screen. So goddamn, it's getting steamed.
Oof, God damn it. All right, that game's about to tip off. Thanks for joining us so much. Tomorrow's Friday. It is crazy. Freaky Friday. It's going to be an unreal show. I can't wait, but let's make that cash tonight, baby. For Conor Mac, he's Maxwell Smart. We're the hell out of here. Thanks so much, baby. We be pumping! Get it, baby.